Today, we will be discussing a very passionate and powerful speech which Jean-Marie Le Pen, the leader of the Front National Party in France, gave to the European Parliament meeting in Strasbourg, France on July 10, 2008. He is extremely critical in his speech of French President Nicolas Sarkozy, who happened at the time to also be the president of the European Union, consisting of 27 member states. Mr. Le Pen had been fiercely opposed to France joining the European Union. In his speech, he condemned Sarkozy for dragging France into the European Union against the will of the French people. Le Pen's speech laments France's loss of its independence as a result of it being in the European Union.
Le Pen founded the Front National Party in 1972 and was its president in 1986 until 1988. He ran for election as the President of France in 2001, coming in second, and again in 2007, finishing fourth. Le Pen is a veteran of the French foreign language and a member of the European Parliament since 1984. He is a powerful and commanding speaker who is extremely upset at how France was brought into the European Union by the current President of France, Nicolas Sarkozy.
Le Pen's speech targets how France's independence is in jeopardy and how its economy is being run into the ground because of President Sarkozy's policies, particularly the allowing of almost unlimited foreign immigration into France, thereby causing widespread unemployment and social unrest. He attributes France's faltering economy, its open borders, and the allowing waves of foreign migratory workers to invade France and take jobs from French workers to France's Sarkozy-inspired membership in the European Union.
Mr. Le Pen wants France to return to being an independent country completely out of the European Union. He very strongly maintains that Sarkozy's policies are ill-advised and that France has surrendered its sovereignty to globalization and the European Union, which he describes as an entity without power or identity. He warns that France will soon be a country that is in distress.
We will touch upon the question of whether Mr. Le Pen's critics are justified in calling him an ultranationalist. An ultranationalist is one who endorses extreme nationalism that promotes the interests of one state or people above all others. We submit that on the basis of his record, Mr. Le Pen can be labeled as an ultranationalist because every point that he expresses is to the extreme, and he clearly promotes the interests of France and of the French people above all others. His opinions are so strong, he believes he is not left-wing nor right-wing, but French. This is Michelle Ribkoff. Unfortunately, we were not able to get a video interview with Justine Mounet, a political historian. But we were lucky enough to have a phone call with her, and this is what she says about the history of the French Union.
In the 1850s to the 1870s, France wanted to expand its empire by letting immigrants come from different parts of Europe and Africa. In 1870, they accepted immigrants for labor jobs. Between the two world wars, there was an increase in immigration to France. After World War II, there were fewer immigrants allowed into France. Immigration had been put in place in the hopes that it would help strengthen the French economy. In the 1970s, the French wanted to assimilate the immigrants. In the 80s and 90s, immigration became extremely selective, and France wanted to suppress multiculturalism. There were too many immigrants by the 1990s, and eventually France banned immigration from Africa and prohibited the uniting of immigrant families from other countries. Present-day France is recognized as a multicultural society, which is in a fair amount of turmoil.
In conclusion, it is submitted that the speech which Mr. Le Pen gave can reasonably be characterized as ultranationalistic in nature, given his strong views regarding the extremely controversial subjects that he brought up in his speech. On the other hand, an impartial observer could reasonably question whether Mr. Le Pen is totally wrong in his approach. Who can say with certainty that at least some of Mr. Le Pen's arguments have no merit whatsoever, and that the policies of the European Union, as espoused by Mr. Sarkozy, are totally appropriate for France, given the economic turmoil which exists today in Europe, with several countries defaulting on their national debt and their economies in peril?